Traci Elizabeth Lords was born Nora Louise Kuzma on May 7, 1968, in Steubenville, Ohio. She grew up amid economic and family instability, with a steelworker father, Louis, and a mother, Patricia, of Irish ancestry. Her paternal grandparents were Ukrainian immigrants. After her parents divorced when she was 7, she moved with her mother and sisters into her great-grandmother's home, a change that marked the start of a restless childhood that would carry her across state lines and into a very public adulthood. As a teenager, she relocated with her mother's boyfriend, and sisters to Southern California. By her own account and contemporary reporting, she soon dropped out of Redondo Union High School. Through contacts in Los Angeles, she obtained forged identity documents showing she was over 18 years old, a deception that opened the door to nude modeling and then to adult films while she was legally a minor. By 1984, she was prominently featured in adult magazines and quickly became a highly sought-after performer in pornographic films. The extent of her underage work set off one of the most significant legal and moral reckonings in U.S. adult entertainment. In 1986, after an anonymous tip reached federal authorities, the FBI investigated and confirmed she had been underage during nearly all of her pornographic work. U.S. distributors pulled material involving her from circulation as illegal child pornography, with the sole exception of Traci, I Love You, 1987, filmed just after she turned 18. The scandal became a defining rupture in the industry and in her life. Lords left the adult business and began training for mainstream acting, using the notoriety attached to the Traci Lords name to secure auditions while trying to channel her career in an entirely different direction. Early work included a camp-inflected starring turn in the 1988 remake Not of This Earth, followed by a sharp shift into cult cinema with John Waters' Crybaby, 1990, where she played the tough and sardonic Wanda Woodward alongside Johnny Depp. These roles helped her cross a highly visible line, from a figure of tabloid scandal to a performer that directors with strong personal styles considered part of their ensemble. During the 1990s, she built a resume of character parts and guest appearances that reinforced her range. She surfaced in television and film across genres, accumulating credits on network and cable series, and landing a small, memorable part in the Marvel vampire thriller Blade, 1998, as the seductive vampire Raquel. She also joined the NBC drama Profiler as the recurring felon Sharon Lesher, an arc that let her explore a psychologically darker character on primetime TV. The steady accumulation of mainstream work mattered. It showcased a performer willing to take supporting roles and edgy turns rather than chase neat reinvention through a single lead. Parallel to acting, Lords pivoted into music with surprising seriousness. Signed to Radioactive Records, she collaborated with producers in London and with Juno Reactor to craft a techno-leaning debut album, 1000 Fires, 1995. Its lead single, Control, became a dance floor staple, peaking at number 2 on Billboard's Dance Club Songs. The track's instrumental even appeared on the multi-platinum Mortal Kombat soundtrack. A second single, Fallen Angel, reached number 11 on the same chart, and she performed DJ sets tied to the record's release. The music turn may have seemed improbable to observers who knew her only from scandal coverage, but the results were real: club play, tours, and a new, credible profile within electronic music of the era. Her autobiography, Traci Lords, Underneath It All, HarperCollins, 2003, further reframed her story on her own terms. The book debuted on the New York Times bestseller list and drew strong mainstream press attention. The Los Angeles Times called it alluringly fascinating, if horrifying, tell-all, underscoring the public's appetite for first-hand accounts of an experience that had often been narrated by others. The memoir also provoked pushback, including a caustic letter to the editor from her sister in the LA Times, illustrating the complicated terrain of memory, trauma, and public truth that follows any attempt to retell an infamous chapter. Whatever one makes of the disputes, the commercial visibility of the book cemented Lords as an author with a platform beyond film and television. Through the late 1990s and 2000s, Lords kept working across formats. She picked up parts in independent features, episodic television, and cable projects while continuing music sporadically. The mid-career portrait that emerges is not of a celebrity pinned to a single redemption narrative, but of a working actor experimenting with tone and scale. This included gigs that winked at her pop culture image and others that had no need of it at all. In interviews and profiles, she leaned into a self-definition as a professional artist, actor, writer, singer, who had paid for hard experience and intended to use it. The second act crystallized in unexpected places. In 2012, she appeared in the Sundance-premiered horror film Excision, delivering a ferocious turn as a rigid, controlling mother. The performance drew praise from genre outlets and festival juries, earning her awards including a Fangoria Chainsaw for Best Supporting Actress, and reminding audiences how forcefully she could command a frame when given material with teeth. That credibility and boundary-pushing indie work, far from the tabloid noise of her youth, marked a deeper maturation than many would have predicted in the early 1990s. Even as she added film and TV credits, Lords continued to test the waters in music. After a long gap, she returned to the dance charts with Last Drag, released via Sea to Sun Recordings, which climbed into the top 5 on Billboard's Dance Club Songs. The track's success, along with her occasional DJ sets and planned, but ultimately shelved, album projects, reinforced the idea that her cultural footprint could not be contained in a single lane. For anyone looking back with only a tabloid lens, the conventional wisdom once predicted a short mainstream shelf life. The record now says otherwise. A sustained presence across screens and stages, a book that moved copies, songs that charted, and performances that found their audience. Traci Lords will always be entangled with the history that made her famous, but she is also evidence that fame, even the most complicated kind, need not fix a person's destiny. She made work and kept making it, which is how most artists write their lives in the end.